All big changes start with a swift kick in the ass. Join the journey of lifelong friends, John Curran and Tom Stewart, as they make conventional thought bend over and take...
Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is John Curran, your one and only host now. It looks like the other boot has dropped, and Tom has given his last podcast. He passed away peacefully on August 16th with his wife by his side. It was... it sucked. Let's just say that. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. It sucked. There was no sugarcoating that. Tom and I were like brothers. We knew each other since we were 4 or 5 years old. And when you've known someone that long, it leaves a toll. They make their mark. I'm recording this about just about a month after his death now. I certainly could not have done this afterwards. It was not fun at all. However, as Tom used to say, we have to embrace the suck. And that means that we just got to give it a big old bear hug, accept it for what it is, and learn from it and move on. I know that's what Tom would have wanted, and that's what I'm doing. Life and death on A Swift Kick in the Ass was no new subject to Tom and I. And even though the last couple of years our episodes got less frequent, I think they became more meaningful. And I say that because Tom and I have over 100 episodes together. Some of them videoed, some of them not. But our families, our loved ones have that to remember us, to remember Tom by. And that's such a great gift. It's certainly a gift to me as I go back through some of the tapes and watch them. It was not only a lot of fun, but we both grew a lot as people. Now, I know I'm not the only person to ever lose someone close to me, and I didn't lose my spouse like Tom's wife did, and I didn't lose my dad like Tom's kids did. Just to let you know that the family will be fine. They're very strong, and they're doing well. And I'm going to remain in touch with them, so I don't know if you've heard the end of them on this show. I hope to have Jen come on. But I know I'm not the only person to lose someone. And as much as I've been preparing for this, it comes as quite of a shock. You can't really ever prepare yourself for something like this. But I think it has helped me in the process that, right, you can't tell your friend this. You can't tell your loved one this who has a terminal disease that, yeah, I know you're going to die. I guess you can. But I know Tommy, he wanted hope. He needed that. So I kept those remarks to myself. But in order to keep my sanity, in the back of my mind, I knew Tom had a terminal illness. He knew it. He knew there was no, it was not a fight he could win. So I guess we did talk about that on the show. But, I think there's a lot to be learned from this, and that's why I want to continue with the show, and we'll see where it goes. One of the things that I really took away from Tom's death was that when we live a well-lived life, a well-lived life leaves a trail of tears. It leaves behind a group of people who are grief-stricken, who are sad, who feel your loss. And I think that's a good thing. In fact, isn't that what we all should do? Shouldn't we live our life like we know, like, you know what? When I die, you're going to miss me. And you're going to cry, and you're going to think about all the things we talked about, and that the memories that we shared, and the things that we learned, and you're going to miss me, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt like hell. But we will transcend. We will get through this, because life carries on. I am deeply saddened by Tom's death. I cannot express in words how deep this has hit me. As I said, I had to take some time before I could actually do a show. But I had every intent of carrying on because I knew that Tom would want this to continue. And he set an example. Even though he had terminal cancer and he knew he was dying, these were the terms of his life. He recognized that, and he made the most out of them. And he carried that message to other people in Gilda's Club who had terminal diseases or some terminal disease. Wonderful people that got a swift kick in the ass. If that isn't a swift kick in the ass, I don't know what is. But Tom didn't lose hope. Tom kept it right till the very end. Tom fought. And Tom left behind a lot of tears. He lived a lived life. He lived on his terms. He made the most out of what he was given. And isn't that what we should all do? This show has never really been about how to love your life, but it's been how to learn, how to teach yourself how to love your life. I don't have all the answers. Tom didn't have all the answers. And it's okay. This show is not for me to give you answers. This show is to teach you how to figure it out for yourself. So think about what I said about leave them crying. If we do it right, your death will be felt by others. And time will be given to you in your honor. Their time. Time is precious. That's the most precious thing we could give someone, is our time. That's why I'm so appreciative of whoever listens to this podcast. You're giving me your time. And your life has meaning. When people are willing to give you their time, they've attached meaning to you. You mean something to them. Your life has meaning. Tom knew this. Tom was loved. Tom still, had ambitions. Tom still had a lot of life to live. He was taken from us very early. And it's a great reminder that you can get the kick in the ass at any time. You never know when. But he lived it on his own terms. So I pray for Tom. I pray that he rests in peace. And for all that he left behind, his brothers and sisters, his children, his wife, his close friends, his other family. My heart goes out to you. You'd know that I am with you in grieving our loss. Now, this show has always been bigger than Tom or myself. And if something was to happen to me, I would really hope someone would love to take it over. If you're interested or want to take a turn, or I don't know, you got some ideas, email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. I'd love to hear from you. Now, the last few years with Tom having a terminal illness, even though I was in Virginia and he was in Florida, many, hundreds of miles away, it was stressful. And I have a daughter in college. I've been in a very good job, a corporate job, for over 20 years now. But as you know, corporate life is very stressful. The job, the work environment has changed a lot. A lot of things have changed. COVID is now in the picture. We have terrorism. The world just seems to be falling apart. It got to me. My nerves were totally frazzled, and it was evident to me that the world was winning. I was not in a good place. I have not been in a very good place. I've been putting up a very good front, I think, for Tom. But in my mind, I've been putting up a fight trying to deal with this. So what I have to say is, don't give up the fight. Tom didn't give up the fight. I'm not going to give up the fight. I'm still here, and I'm going to keep fighting. Just retreat. Regroup if you have to. But never, ever, ever give up. Unless it's something that you can't win. And that's what I guess what I struggle with Tom dying. You know, Tom had a terminal disease. He there was nothing he could do to change that. But Tom had this fight in him, this inextinguishable fight that stayed lit till the very end. Tom didn't want to die. I didn't want Tom to die, that's for sure. A lot of people wanted Tom to be around, but wasn't to be. And he never gave up. So there's times where you have to question about whether or not you want to give up or not. But, you know, you have to decide that for yourself. Deep inside, you is a power. You have everything it takes to get through this. So cheer yourself up and get on with it. Get down to the business of what you're going through. Now, I love the Beatles. I love George Harrison and his music. And he has a song, and I think you should check it out. It's called Cheer Down. And as I've been going through this time, this song really resonates with me. I'm not going to read the verses, but basically the gist of it is no matter what, you're going to get through it like you always have. You're going to get through it. So cheer yourself on for the things that you want out of life, but really cheer down. Cheer yourself on by getting down to business of what needs to be done and just get through it. Get through it. Be done with it. You know, most of the battles that we fight, these obstacles that we face, it's easier just to go through them than it is to try to get around them. But many of us for years tried to get around them and get nowhere when we should have just walked right through that obstacle to get to the other side. That's what I have for this first episode without Tom. I have a lot planned for the show, for you. I have had a lot of podcasts kind of bottled up over the last couple years. And I want to start producing some content again. So I hope all is well with you in this crazy world. And I hope to be a motivating force for positive change. That's something that Tom and I started back in 2014. It's a dream that we had to live life on our terms, to figure out what that meant, you know, and bring others with us on that journey. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. And until next time, this is John Curran. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.